Marge. Now, let's see if we can try to get into some sense of who is Judge Sonia Sotomayor and what kind of justice will she be. Let me just throw out my take, and I've read a few of her cases and read about others. My take is that number one, that I don't think these labels work with this kind of left of center. I'm not sure what that means. But she does seem to be someone who has an abiding understanding of how the Constitution and the law affect those who have less power. At the same time, to me, she seems deeply suspicious of government over-intrusion into individuals' personal lives. So if I was going to kind of capture my sense of how to describe this justice, that's what I'd say. So I'm just throwing it out there, not necessarily for anybody to agree, but just to throw it out there about what people's take is about the kind of justice she might be. And I'm going to try to reverse the order so we don't always start with Dahlia and mix up. Adam, would you start?
Yeah, I've taken the time to read, as large a stack of her appellate opinions as I can. And what I'd say, first of all, to look at it from the reverse perspective, if there is a smoking gun out there for conservatives to seize upon and say, aha, she's a racist judge, she's too empathetic, she's not applying the law, they haven't found it yet, and I don't think it exists. What I see when I read her opinions is someone who is careful, methodical, even boring about the way that she goes through precedent and goes through the facts to lay things out. If there is any area in which I've seen her demonstrate, in any way an excess of empathy, it's a pair of cases I was looking at. One was the prosecution of Phil Giordano, who was the mayor of Waterbury, Connecticut, and another one was a garden variety parole case, both of which involved child victims of sexual abuse. And in both of those cases, she definitely took extra efforts to make clear the harms that were being done to these children and why that was an understandable and necessary factor in the opinions that she rendered. But by and large, this is not somebody who is interested in writing exciting opinions. She's not interested in showing off her vocabulary. She goes through and just methodically applies the law in what seems to be, an even-handed and understanding way. There's still a large stack of things to go through, but thus far I'm very impressed with the meticulousness of her decision making.
So we have a methodical, even-handed, being faithful to the law. Maria, what's your take?
Yeah, I read I read about 7 or 8 of the appellate, and I actually thought I should go and I read about 10 of her district court cases in areas that I was interested in, sort of, employment discrimination, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, to sort of get a sense, because it struck me that you might see her philosophy more at the original trial court level than once you're reviewing a trial court decision with the standard of review, and that might be where you really got a sense of her application of a lot of the facts. But I come away with a very similar take than you do about her meticulousness. I have to say, when I started out, I thought, well, I'm just going to find a very smart, good judge. When I read her district court opinions, I thought she is a true believer in the Bill of Rights, is what I sort of came away with. Where she has cases that involve invasions of privacy. She is very, I was struck by the police case where it's a police officer who is discharged from the New York Police Department for writing autonomous hate notes, anti-Semitic, anti-Black, and the police review board fires him. And she he sues, and she agrees with him that this was a denial of his First Amendment right to speech. I think that's a great case for us, by the way, to use in this battle, because you know, everybody's talking about how she's a reverse racist. Here she upholds this guy's racist speech. And when she does it, she basically says, if you're going to intrude on this First Amendment, you know, right, free speech, you better really have your ducks lined up. And she goes through and she shows this guy was not in a position where he was in contact with the public, so he couldn't have been undermining the authority of the police department. The notes were anonymous, on and on and on, facts, but basically her premise was, this is so, and she says, don't get sort of political on me. She, you know, she says to the police board, I know that there are problems, but don't implicate the First Amendment in your political, you know, campaign here, because the New York Police Department's on the hook for a lot of racism. I was really struck by that, and the same thing with the strip search case. I think she's going to turn out to be very, not just good and not just meticulous on these Bill of Rights cases. I think she's going to actually turn out to be really an upholder of the Bill of Rights, is my instinct.
I really agree. I was struck by that First Amendment case. I think it's the Pappas versus Giuliani. I think we're probably going to be hearing a lot more about that. I totally agree. Bill?